So that night, while 48% of Dollville slept, something was happening. Something that would change everything in Dollville.
The Yellow Hats rule! The Yellow Hats rule! The Yellow Hats will always rule!
The flyers had started to fade. There was an information booth downtown if anybody had any information on the missing women. There was also a big billboard downtown. They were all gone, everyone but Patty. Now, when I could stomach looking at her podcast, she would say how the Greenstones had something to do with it. Patty was a Yellowton. That was her political affiliation, that she started to take a bit too seriously. But at least the fires had stopped, because I was really going to call the law on her ass. Now, I became obsessed with the people that I had seen in that pizza parlor before it burned down. When Donnie Bondi opened another one, I went to the grand opening. I was hoping that that couple would be there, but they weren't. I would drive by that gray building really slow, not a person in sight. I had cut on the TV that Saturday night, and there it was, Mulder and Scully, the X-Files. They were in Dollsville, and I was glued to the TV. Dollvillians were saying that they believed that the dolls were abducted by a UFO. I had even ordered a book off of Amazon based on Mulder and Scully. It arrived in 28 minutes, and that was going to be my day. I was going to find out what was going on. What happened to the Yellowheads. There was a $1 million reward for information or the safe return of all 35 women. Yeah, I had my work cut out for me that day. Now, besides me wanting a better job, I guess things were okay. I mean, they were quiet for the most part. My neighbors, they were pretty quiet. It's been a few months. I would see the older kids maybe cutting the grass, or the girls in the back making TikTok videos, but for the most part, it was quiet. I couldn't really ask for anything else. Now you will see why I ended up calling Donnie Bondi about that reward money. They would introduce themselves. Now, Alice was very close to Mike, that I thought that they were married, and Alice and Carol were dressed alike, which was weird. Now, they reeked of pot, and Mike smelled like cognac. But they were looking for Cindy. Cindy was the youngest child. She didn't want to go to school unless her doll could go. Well, that's understandable. I wanted to close the door, but a kid was missing. So Cindy was found a little bit down the street from us at the shopping center. Carol had stopped by again. She asked for a ride to the elementary school. Bobby had taken a GUN to school. Mike was out for the moment, so I took her. Then Mike and Carol came back. They wanted to ask me, did I mind their yard sign? I didn't. They asked me, was I a Yellowton or a Greenstone? I told them that I had no political affiliation. They wanted to explain to me Cindy running away and Bobby taking a piece to school. They wanted their children to be free, is what they said. They believed in family first, Raggedy Ann and Andy, not Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Ann. I understood. There was no drinking or no smoking. Then Carol giggled and said, well, a little smoking, that she needed to start the day. You also had to be fruitful, and a child was a gift. I knew all this. I knew all this from Patty. I only told them that maybe in the future I would have kids. They invited me over for dinner to meet their oldest son, Greg. Carol said that Greg was hot. That was weird. They were picking him up from the airport. He had just got back from basic training. Now, I declined the dinner, but I told them that I would eventually meet Greg. It was Alice. She came over. She asked me for advice. She said she was dating a dude at Dalville Fish Market, but that he was cheap. Now, Alice appeared to be a little inebriated. She slipped and said that Sam didn't please her. Like the Bradys, I was so uncomfortable. She said she was a pleaser. She then pulled out Did He baby oil and offered me a massage. I told her I had things to do. Perhaps a rain check? It was Carol. She asked me could I take her to her doctor's appointment that Mike didn't know about. She told me that she thought she was pregnant, but there was no way in hell she was having this 7th child. So now we're at the clinic, and I'm trying to just calm her down. I'm like, I thought that you wanted to be fruitful, and it was confirmed. She was fruitful. Carol asked me not to say anything. She came by again and asked if I could take Jan to Mingling's wig store. It seemed that Jan got pissed off with something that happened that day, and she shaved all her hair off and refused to go to school tomorrow. So I took her. Peter asked could he borrow my laptop for his homework. He said his had stopped working, so I said okay. Shouldn't be anything wrong with that, right? Marcia came by to ask me what did fin mean. I asked her to use it in a sentence. She said Ray Sean said he was finna come. I said I think that means he's on his way. She smiled. I see why it's always Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. Peter gave me my laptop back. It was sticky, and the search history was extremely disturbing. I wanted to throw my laptop away. Greg came, and I found out a lot about Greg. He wasn't in the military. He was in rehab, and it seemed he relapsed, right there. Now, Sticky Hands Peter helped me bring Greg back home. So, finally, I was able to sit down and watch the X-Files and start on my quest to try to find out what happened to the Yellowheads. That's when I got a call from Mike. And now I'm driving to the other side of town to pick him up. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. He was so drunk. He puked in my car. The following morning, I sat early enough to try to look for another job. I had to get out of this house. And I wanted to get in my day before the Bradys got out. Mike did come over to apologize, and he gave me money for cleaning my car. And it was way more than enough. I was able to actually pay my rent a little bit earlier. I went in the house to get my keys, to take my car to be cleaned. And that's when I saw it. It was Patty. She was on TV at the University of Dalville. She called it her training day tour, where she was going to train the youth, is what she said. Carol came and knocked on my door. I pushed past her. I told her I had errands to run and a phone call to make. If I can't stop her, I know the one person that can. Donnie Bondi will.